everyone. Welcome to another episode of Health Talk with Fifi. My name is Rosemary Adjoa Duma Ansan, and I'm your co-host for today. So today we are going to talk about a very interesting and important topic, syphilis. I want to know more about syphilis, and I know you also want to know more about it. I have with me here medical laboratory scientist, Mr. Isaac Osei Apia. Welcome, Mr. Isaac.
Thank you very much, Rosemary.
How are you doing?
I'm good by God's grace.
Glad to have you today.
Glad to have you too.
All right, so today our topic is syphilis. We want to know what syphilis is, everything about syphilis. So let's start with, what is syphilis? What is it at all?
Okay, thank you very much. So syphilis is actually a sexually transmitted disease whereby two individuals have an intercourse. So during their intercourse, maybe the male or the female might be infected. So that person transmits it to another person through the intercourse. So it's not actually only intercourse, but majority of it is being transmitted through sexual intercourse.
Okay.
Or we have through anal sex or oral sex. So these are actually the ways by which sexually transmitted disease like syphilis are being transmitted. So actually that is the general concept about syphilis.
Okay, so this syphilis we are talking about, what actually causes it?
Okay, syphilis is actually caused by bacteria known as the Treponema pallidum. So this bacteria transmits this syphilis. So as I said, when you have an intercourse with an infected person, it is being transmitted when there is an open cut. So it is usually through sexual intercourse or when you have an anal or oral sex. So when the person is having or the infected person is having, he or she can transmit it to the opposite one. So it's actually caused by this bacterium called the Treponema pallidum.
Oh, okay. So let's say if I have a cat and let's assume someone has syphilis and the person's sweat touches my cat, can I have syphilis through that?
Yes. So actually, when the individual is having a cat, the one who is infected with the syphilis has a cat.
And I have the cat. Can the person give me syphilis through?
Yes, it can be transmitted through that means. It's not only by sexual intercourse, as I said. It could be through maybe kissing, might also be but it's not a major way of transmitting. But it could be when the person has a cat and the infected person is also having a cat. So through the deep kiss. So actually a deep kiss can cause syphilis.
So what are the stages we have in this syphilis infection?
So actually we have 4 stages. So we have the primary stage, we have the secondary stage, we have the latent stage, then we have the tertiary stage or the late stage. So that actually these are the stages.
Can you please take us through the
Okay, so let's start with the first one, that is the primary stage. So with the primary stage, when you are being infected, when actually you are being infected, you are going to portray some symptoms. So that will be for the initial, for about maybe 6 to 12 weeks. Okay. You start portraying some cancer at the around your genital part. So with a woman, you could have these small rashes at the back, at the sides of your vagina, the outer sides. And the male might also have this cancer. We call it cancer at your private parts. So actually, that is the initial symptoms you are going to have. But it is painless. So if you don't take care, you would think that it is a normal thing. So it is painless, and you wouldn't feel it like itchy. So it will be with you. It can be with you for 1 month, 2 months, and you wouldn't even know if it is actually that. So that is the initial stage. That is with the primary stage. So with the primary stage, if you don't notice it, it goes into the secondary stage, whereby you start seeing rashes all over your foot, not only your foot, your palms. You see some bump of rashes all over those places.
Wow, I see.
You start portraying some symptoms as well. So this secondary stage, you portray fever, headache, also nausea, general fatigue. Yes. So for this stage, that is what you portray. So if you don't if you don't get treated,
Then it moves to.
it moves to the
Wow,
to the next
interesting.
stage. That is the latent stage, where that with the latent stage, it can be with you for about 5 to 20 years.
I can have syphilis for 5 to 6
For
years.
5 to 20 years.
Wow.
It could stay with you for so many years, and it is very important to check so that it doesn't go to the next stage. So with that stage, you portray symptoms, but it wouldn't show much. So it depends on the individual. So the individual might show some symptoms along the way, as I said, general pains and other stuff. So it will continue to the last stage. But with our stage, it usually doesn't get to that stage, because during the latent stage, people will they will be aware of it.
Okay.
So definitely go to the hospital. But when it gets to the last stage, that is the late stage. So with that stage, I think there is nothing
that can be done.
Yes.
About.
So
Okay.
with that stage, it can even affect some parts of your body. So we have the cardiosyphilis, we have the neurosyphilis. With the cardiosyphilis, it can affect your heart, then your nerves as well. So then it can lead to death, brain damage, blindness. So these are some of the things that when it gets to the late stage, it can cause.
Wow, this is my first time hearing syphilis can actually affect my heart when it gets to the last stage. Can I be born with syphilis?
Yes, you can be born with syphilis. That's what we call the congenital stage, or the congenital syphilis. So it is a mother to child transmission during childbirth. So during that time, the cut from the woman. So you could also get it through the umbilical cord, where it crosses the amniotic fluid to the baby. So these are some of the ways. So that is what we call the congenital syphilis. The baby could attract, or it could be.
Okay, I know you've mentioned chancery and some rashes, but in general, what are the symptoms that we have?
So as I said, with syphilis, you have the rashes. So aside the rashes, you have fever, headache. You would also portray, as I said, general weakness. Yes, general weakness as well. And you see this bump of rashes at the foot or the palms. You notice. So when the person is actually having syphilis and sore at the mouth area, if it is an anal sex,
okay.
And it usually occurs when you have when you have a partner who is of the same sex. It's very important. So those homosexuals, and so it usually happens in that aspect very well as compared to a woman.
So if I have syphilis for the 6 to 12 weeks that you said, and I'm not having any symptoms, can I still transmit the syphilis?
Yes, at every stage of the syphilis, it is contagious. Okay. You can transmit it. The primary stage is it's very serious. You can transmit it very easily. The secondary stage, the latent stage, and the late stage, you can transmit it. It's very at every stage you could transmit the.
So now I have syphilis. How would the hospital or my doctor diagnose me of syphilis? How would they say you have syphilis? How is it diagnosed?
Okay, so how you're going to diagnose the syphilis is when you go to the hospital, you meet the physician, and then you talk to the physician that these are the things that you are seeing. So the physician is going to examine you then and see the actual symptoms you are portraying. Then you go to the lab and you get tested. So when you come to the lab, we usually do the VDR test to screen the syphilis. Then when it comes out positive, then you go in for treatment for the syphilis.
That comes to my question. Can it be treated?
Yes, it's curable. It's curable.
Wow.
You can treat syphilis very well. Yes, you can treat it.
Any advice for the youth out there?
Yes, I want to advise the youth out there that you should get protected. We know you can't stay out of sex. You can't do without it, and so you have to get protected by putting on a condom when you're having sex, and we should stay safe. That is what I can do.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was very educative one out there. Thank you so much for watching today's episode on Health Talk with Fifi. My name is Rosemary Ajendumansa and I'm your host. Keep watching the channel, subscribe, like, comment, and share. See you next time. Bye.